This is Mac OS Ken.
Problems in the supply chain, for a change. Apple makes the most computers, kind of. And Flamingo and the Kingslayer are headed to Apple TV+. It is Thursday, the 5th of May, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Notion. One workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Collide, endpoint security powered by people. The line between keeping an eye on employee security and looking over their shoulder is really slim. You might come off looking like a control freak or a busybody, and besides, are you really sure you want to see everything everybody's doing on their machines? Really? There's a better way with Collide. Collide sends employees important, timely, and relevant security recommendations for their Linux, Mac, and Windows devices right inside Slack. That's true whether they're using devices you've handed out or working in a bring-your-own-device environment. I love what Collide turns your people into. People who know what to do to make their devices and your workplace more secure. People who are learning about security as they go. People who are bought into your security needs. To me, this feels like the future of personal data security. But try it out and see for yourself. Visit collide.com/macOSKen to sign up today. That's KOLIDE, collide.com/macOSKen. Enter your email when prompted to receive your free Collide gift bundle after trial activation at KOLIDE, collide.com/macOSKen. Well, that was fast. Yesterday we heard that Foxconn's iPhone City plant in Zhengzhou was in the midst of a hiring spree, something not anticipated for the location until late June or early July. Nobody seriously thought they were building the next round of iPhones yet. Instead, speculation had Foxconn either hiring more people to keep up with current iPhone demand, or maybe getting folks into the factory's closed loop ahead of the seemingly inevitable next round of COVID closures. Yeah, it turns out that start was a little too late. The Mac Observer cites a report from the South China Morning Post saying Apple's manufacturing partner has had to stop the hiring push with new COVID-19 lockdowns hitting Zhengzhou. Now, I said nobody seriously thought that they were building the next round of iPhones yet. That does not stop people from worrying about the next round of iPhones. Both the South China Morning Post and Digitimes say the new lockdown, set to end next Tuesday, could cause trouble for iPhone 14 production. Hard to know whether they actually think so or just like the clicks. Whatever the case, the early massive hiring is off for the time being. If iPhone 14 does end up delayed, it's probably going to be impossible to tell what caused it. Shortages tied to legacy nodes, myriad COVID closures, the trouble BOE has gotten into with Apple. It could be that because that has happened again. BOE makes iPhone displays for Apple, or did until a couple of weeks ago. Toward the end of April, we heard word that the company was having trouble with display production. That was due in part to a lack of display drivers, along with problems producing panels with the chips it had on hand. Originally expected to produce 40 million iPhone displays for Apple, that expectation was lowered to 30 million. Then it was kind of left hanging. It's not going to be 30 million. Mac Rumors highlights a report from the ALEC saying Apple has virtually cut Chinese display manufacturer BOE out of the iPhone 13 supply chain after discovering design changes to its OLED panels. The piece goes on to say BOE reportedly changed the design of its OLED panels by expanding the circuit width of thin film transistors. The elect claims that when Apple discovered the change, it told BOE to halt production. That said, the piece expresses doubt that BOE is permanently benched. Keeping them in the loop keeps pressure on iPhone's primary display manufacturers, Samsung and LG. For now, though, another kink in the supply chain. Here's a sort of silly story making the rounds again. A new report from Canalys says Apple is the world's #1 computer maker if you count tablets as computers, which they technically are, but almost nobody does. Why do that? If you'll allow me, I can see a day where we don't even think about computers as physical things anymore. A day where we think in terms of thinking, of communication, where what we're talking to, tablet, laptop, smartphone, unseen server, wearable of some sort, where what we're talking to will not matter as much as what that is doing for us. That is not the world we live in today. And yet Canalys says Apple is the #1 computer maker. Then people read the article and go, oh, okay, yeah, cute. I'm just saying you could talk about the fact that the tablet category is still beating pre-pandemic levels and Apple still owns tablets. You could focus on the fact that despite Apple not having nearly enough to meet demand, iPad won the first quarter of 2022 walking away. Though their shipments did decline 2% year over year, while global tablet shipments fell 3%, iPad's market share actually grew from 38.2% in the first quarter of last year to 38.6% last quarter. By Canalys' own estimates, Apple shipped 14.9 million iPads last quarter, nearly double the 7.9 million shipped by second-place Samsung. Indications from Canalys are that the tablet market is in for a rougher time of it this quarter. A few factors will contribute, including off and on COVID lockdowns in China. Not sure you've heard about those. Continuing component shortages. Not sure you've heard about those. And manufacturers pulling sales out of Russia because Russia barged into Ukraine. News of another Mac that's getting harder to get. Last week we heard that some people who had ordered MacBook Pros with customizations as far back as February were seeing their orders pushed out to June. Now Apple's second biggest computer says, "Hold my beer." According to a piece from Cult of Mac, Apple's Mac Studio seems to be caught by the same assembly delays that are affecting MacBook Pro. Quoting the report, there is no version of the Mac Studio available from Apple's online store in less than a week, and the only configurations that ship that quickly are the ones with the base model M1 Max processor, 512 gigabytes of storage, and either 32 or 64 gigabytes of RAM. Increase the storage capacity to 1 terabyte or more, and the delivery window slips to between the 23rd and 30th of June. The same is true if a faster version of the M1 Max is picked. Now go for an M1 Ultra, and the soonest you might get your machine is somewhere between the 24th of June and the 11th of July. That's for a model with 64 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage, and the base model of M1 Ultra. Up anything on any of that, and the best Apple will give you for delivery is 10 to 12 weeks. My refurbished Mac Mini is doing great, by the way. I know it's not the same thing, but I thought I'd tell ya. You may not be able to get the Mac you want, but you can get a relatively long, super expensive cable to plug into it. iMore says Apple is now selling a 3-meter Thunderbolt 4 Pro cable on its website for the first time. The piece says the cord was promised when the Studio Display went on sale. It is now available for $159. That is more than an Apple Pencil. For a cord. Cool. More news in a moment, but first a word from Notion, one workspace for your whole team. With hybrid work probably here to stay, the strongest teams are the ones who can keep it together without having to be together. Let Notion be the one hub where your whole team can share work and processes, manage projects, and collaborate with clarity. For companies of all sizes, Notion provides one central and customizable workspace that can be tailored to fit any team and bring all teams together to get more done and move faster. Yes, companies of all sizes. Figma, Axios, Headspace, Duolingo, and so many more companies you know and use Notion. And those companies make it easier for your company. Notion has a worldwide network of millions of users creating templates, tutorials, and new inspiration. You're not only using the tools they use, you can use them the way they use them as well. Learn more and get started for free at notion.com/macOSKen. That's notion.com/macOSKen to help take the first step toward an organized, happier team today. Notion. That's notion.com/macOSKen. News of two big names headed to two upcoming shows for Apple TV+. Both stories come to us compliments of Variety. The first has Game of Thrones' own Nikolaj Coster-Waldau joining the Jennifer Garner series, The Last Thing He Told Me. The second has The West Wing's Allison Janney joining Kristen Wiig in the series Mrs. American Pie. For The Last Thing He Told Me, Variety says the show follows Hannah, played by Garner, a woman who forms an unexpected relationship with her 16-year-old stepdaughter Bailey while searching for the truth about why her husband has mysteriously disappeared. Coster-Waldau will star as Owen, Hannah's husband, who has disappeared. It's probably artsy. As for Mrs. American Pie, Variety says Janney will play Evelyn, a full-time Palm Beach resident and member of the high society that Maxine Simmons, played by Wiig, attempts to secure her place in. Set in the powder keg era of the early 1970s, the series will follow Maxine as she navigates the line between the haves and have-nots. The series focuses on questions of who gets a seat at the table and what people will sacrifice to get there. No word on when either show will make the screen. Want to go behind the scenes with Apple Fitness Plus? Well, you can't, but iJustine did, and luckily, she brought a camera. The Mac Observer says the content creator got a tour of the Apple Fitness Plus studio in Santa Monica, as well as interviews with Apple Fitness exec Jay Blahnik and some of the Fitness Plus trainers. You can catch the video now on YouTube. And finally today, if you've ever watched a movie or TV show set in the Star Wars universe and wonder how the noises were made, Apple will teach you to do it with GarageBand. On the heels of the Star Wars-centric Behind the Mac, dedicated to Skywalker's sound use of Apple computers, the company has announced a virtual Today at Apple session scheduled for Monday, the 9th of May. Promises to be a jam-packed hour, including an interview with Skywalker Sound's Leff Lefferts, a viewing of the Behind the Mac episode, and a piece from the Mac Observer says, a GarageBand tutorial on creating vocal effects for a character. The session is set for 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central next Monday. Though attendees won't need to go anywhere, registration is required. That is open now at apple.co/Skywalker-sound. If you missed that, I will put a link in the story. Make Star Wars noises with GarageBand at macoscan.com. If you're not planning on hitting the session, but you do want to see the Behind the Mac episode, that is available now on YouTube. macOS Can, brought to you by me and sponsored by Collide, endpoint security powered by people. Learn more and try it for free at KOLIDE collide.com/macOSCan. This show is also sponsored by Notion, one workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.com/macOSCan. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macoscan.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Can. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.